Good evening, everybody. I'm trying to get dinner in as fast as possible, so I don't have to eat on camera because that's very rude. But here I am, breaking the laws. But I'm good. Vish, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Good. You lost track of time that badly, man?
That's how it felt like this weekend against Notre Dame, except maybe Friday night.
Well, it's a
But
bizarre series.
yeah, take it away, Vish, because I was frustrated. You were there, but you were there 2 out of the 3. I mean, I'm sorry, all 3. Excuse me, you were there for all 3 games. Tell me what you saw. What was the biggest difference between that Friday night game, and that Saturday night game? Right, you go into your 10-run rule. This team, I know that the joke is save some runs for the next day. Clearly, they didn't. Right, Miami again reverted back to what we have been talking about all season. Right, is their inconsistency to score runs at a high rate efficiently. Right, they do it every once in a while. They'll get hot. They're 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 guys um, are the only ones you can really rely on. But sometimes you get contribution from everybody like that, but it's very inconsistent. I mentioned this weekend. I said, this not only are they inconsistent, but they get absolutely nothing from their 5 through 9, and so it's easy as a pitching staff of an opposing team to come in with an idea of how you're going to stop or how you're going to try to limit what 1 through 4 do. Um, it's easier said than done because you got guys. Jake Ogden is having a spectacular season. We know what Danny Cuvée is. Obviously, Max Galvin started to heat up, so he looks like he came in to be the guy that we thought he would when he came in this season. And then Dorian is kind of doing his thing every once in a while. He has his at bats. He's looking a lot better in the second half of the season than he did at the beginning. So, your 1 through 4 is solid. Tanner Smith, I want to say 5 through 9, but it's really 6 through 9 because Tanner Smith every once in a while comes through and gets you something. He's exactly what I thought he would be, a 250 hitter, borderline guy that can, that's not going to do anything spectacular, but not going to do anything too stupid either at the plate. So, what's your thought process? Because now Miami's obviously going to be fighting for a regional positioning. I think they're locked in, but they come into the ACC tournament ranked 9th, and they play tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in the morning against Cal. What's your thoughts on what's happened the last 2 weeks and how they can kind of overcome all of this?
I think they're locked in. Like, everyone's saying they're safe. Cal is the worst team in the ACC, so losing them wouldn't be a good look because that'd be 6 out of 7 also. I mean, look, the lineup's inconsistent. It has been. So, yeah, I mean, you got your top 4 or 5 guys, and then after that, let's see who's swinging a bat. And I think the difference between games where the Canes, score 3 runs or 2 runs, which is 2 of the 3 games last week, and then the third one where they kind of, like I said, run ruled them, the game was over. It's 12-0 in the second inning. Is just, can those guys at the bottom line get on base somehow? And Notre Dame was booting the ball all over the place and walking a lot of guys, hitting batters in that second game, and so that allowed those guys to get on base. And then, we have the firepower at the top of the lineup between Ogden, Galvin, obviously Cuvée, and Dorian to knock the runners in if there's guys on base. So that's the key, is somehow getting the bottom of the lineup on base. But yeah, he's tried everything. Like, pretty much every bat has gotten an opportunity at some point this year, and just, we can complain about it, but there's no answer. It's not like he's not doing something. Like, why are you doing that? Like, everything is a low percentage play that he's rolling the dice on. So, that game on Sunday, I will say, it was 2-2, in the 6th inning. And yeah, I was surprised he sent Darius back out there. He'd already thrown 85 pitches. Had kind of, worked his way to a 2-run allowed, but pitched out a lot of jams, got some double plays. Like, it was very much on the brink multiple times. and he sent him out there, and he gave up a solo home run to open that inning, and then Will Smith later gave up a 2-run home run and kind of opened the floodgates, and then he just went to all of the arms that have not pitched in weeks. And it just quickly got away. I mean, Reese Lumpkin was the one who was on the mound for a lot of those runs. I don't believe has worked out of the bullpen at all this year. So it was a weird setup. I would have definitely liked to have seen Walters get in there regardless of the score, because this was his last home series. He didn't pitch in all this series, which is, you would hope that someone like JD, who pitched here, understands the importance of having a last appearance at home. Walters is not going to come back. He's going to get drafted. So, I think I can't believe they didn't give him an inning. They put Mikey Fernandez in the 9th inning, and he got rocked too, by the way. And it's just I don't know. Some of this stuff I feel like we can manage better, and certainly the management of the pitchers has been a little weird all year. But not letting Walters pitch the entire last home weekend of his career, not even not getting him a batter. Obviously, the game on Friday, you're thinking save him for the rest of the weekend, because it wasn't a save situation. And the game on Saturday was over in the 7th inning. But on Sunday, that's it. You're not going to, obviously, there's no game tomorrow. I would have liked to have seen him pitch. So that was just, I don't know what the approach was to kind of empty the bullpen when the game was still competitive until the point it wasn't competitive. That didn't really make sense.
Well, it's funny because Danny says here, pitch Hugus tomorrow and find a way to get a win. Listen, if you're finding a way to get a win with Hugus in the mound against Cal, that's rough, man. To me, it's throw Hugus, dominate, and get some momentum and go, right? Siskar right now is I would say, Vish, that AJ Siskar is our number one right now, right? I just feel like he's got the stuff, but he's in a groove right now, right? He's our top pitcher right now, if you ask me. But Hugus is still that bulldog. He's still the guy that's going to go out there and eat up innings and strike people out, and he can win games. Obviously, we've seen it. He's a very good pitcher. So I think you got to go in there. You got to beat Cal. You got to kick their ass, and then you got to go to Wake, throw Siskar, and have Siskar have you another. Unfortunately, you got to depend on another really solid inning, because you don't know what you're going to get from the bats. But if you win those 2 games, against Cal and then Wake Forest, who's a solid team, decent team. I know they've had their struggles this year, but that's a really good team in Wake. Some of their guys, especially their lineup. Their lineup is solid. Then you go into territory where you're facing, some of the Georgia Techs and whoever else is up there at the top. But I think that if you win those 2 games, you got a good opportunity to potentially get in a really solid region and work your way through it. But I think that if you don't win the first 2 games, I think in the ACC tournament, I still think you're locked in. But you're probably going to play in a shitty region or get your ass kicked and bounced. And so either way, I think this team is so unpredictable right now. They went through their hot streak. Now they got brought back down to reality a little bit. They're gonna have to figure it out and get hot again and start winning some ball games. And truthfully, I think that you've seen some of the pitching, specifically the starting pitching, and some of the guys out of the pen stay solid, stay consistent. The hitting is more of a concern to me than the pitching is. I know the wheels fall off on Saturday, but I think that the hitting is definitely more of a concern for me, because where are you going to find that clutch base hit, at the bottom half of the lineup? You're not confident enough that you're going to get it from anybody down there. And so, your matchup doesn't really matter at this point, whether it's Kulikowski, Tavares, Bobby Marsh. I mean, I don't think it really matters right now who it is. You just got to get a guy. You got to hope that he gets hot that day and gets a couple base hits for you and does something productive. So it's going to be tough to see what they do. If they face a lefty, I'm sure you're going to see a guy like Tavares up there. Unfortunately, Derek Williams is not healthy enough yet to start swinging the bat. I would love if I had some information on him, but I don't. And I really hope that they can kind of pull it together and get things going and and make a nice little run here.
Yeah, I don't. So I will say, like, Cal's RPIs in the hundreds. They have some. They have 9 ACC wins. And it's not going to be a free walkover. I know you said you need to blow them out. I just need to win somehow. Siskar has been our best pitcher lately, but again, like, we lost on game one against Notre Dame along 3 runs. Like, that's winning pitching. We just didn't win the game. So I think Hughes is definitely the guy if you have all the chips are on the table and you got to throw someone, you're throwing Hughes. You're not throwing the freshman. And yeah, they need to win the Cal game just to secure things. I mean, look, I'm just going off of what people are projecting, and I hate to say this, I've been saying this, but like, the Canes' resume, their numbers are better than the team actually looks when they play. And the RPI in the low 30s, and strength of schedule in the top 10, and over 500 in the ACC. Everyone's saying safely in, and that's not me. That's like the projections. We're not really even considered a bubble team. Not a last 4 in. Now, a loss to Cal wouldn't look good. I don't think it's enough to dump us all the way out of the tournament. The other thing is, we don't know how they're going to weigh this weird one single elimination tournament. It's a new construct, so like, I mean, who knows? But so I don't think it's like do or die tomorrow. Like, if we lose, we're out. But yeah, I think it's a game we should win, and you don't want to lose 6 or 7 going into the postseason and kind of be slumping. So that's when to take care of. If they do that. After that, everything else is kind of bonus. Wake Forest is really good. I don't think it's really gonna, affect the seeding that much, just because with the number of hosts in the SEC, the Canes are pretty much going to an SEC team. Like, there's just they regionality comes into play. And there's a bunch of hosts in the ACC as well. They can't go to an ACC school, which basically means in this part of the country, it's either coastal or an SEC team, right? I mean, at this point,
or the Florida Gators or LSU, right? Yeah, either way.
Well, Florida, I don't think is going to host. They finished 500 in the SEC, but like, projected wise, there's a lot of national seeds from the SEC as well, so you might get like a quote unquote easier SEC team. But I don't even know that. Frankly, like, I don't know that they're gonna do a lot of, like, it's so hard to separate these teams out and keep all the rules in place. We don't put 2 ACC teams in one and 2 SEC teams in one. Like, let me put it this way: if the Canes like won 2 games in a row, and or whatever, and Arizona loses early in the Big Ten, they'll just switch them, so they don't, like, if they were using D1, they don't have to like redo all of the alignment and figure out, well, if we move Arizona here, then we got to move. So it would be like the Canes would be the 2 seed and Arizona would be the 3 seed. Like, it's so hard to keep this stuff straight, because the ACC, the SEC have expanded so much, and they're hogging so many of the bids. Just keeping them out of the same regional is work enough. I agree, can't leave it in the committee's hands. I don't think it really is. I mean, it would be pretty shocking. I will say the one thing is, Virginia and Notre Dame are on the bubble. D1 baseball had them in, but they were both in the last 4 in. You don't want a situation where the committee starts looking against us. Well, the Canes just lost 5 out of 6 to those 2 teams, and starts like thinking that way. But I don't think they will. You got to weigh the whole season. These schedules aren't balanced. We actually played one of the reasons our RPIs has played a tough ACC schedule. We didn't play Cal, like, who's the worst team. We didn't play Stanford, who's also not good this year. So, yeah, I mean, I think, maybe marginally improved seeding, but I think more important is just getting a win and getting some momentum going, because the last couple of weeks have been really rough.
Now, the question is, can the Canes do it, right? Can they get there, and can they play really good? Can they play good enough baseball where they can get through some of these regionals, and even get through a regional, maybe even a super regional, and get to Omaha? Look, let's look at who they have beat, right? Like, we're talking about Georgia Tech won the overall ACC title, right? The regular season ACC title. We swept Georgia Tech. right? NC State, I think, is in the top four. We took the two games, probably would have swept them as well. But we beat them those two games, and then the third one got rained out, right? The other two were North Carolina and FSU. We took one from each of those teams, I think. Oh no, North Carolina might have swept us, but I know we took one from Florida State. Some of the other teams that are up there that are in position to host a regional or even be a top program those are teams that we beat. So Miami can do it. Miami can go up there. Miami can beat some of these teams because I think that they have enough talent. If they get hot, they can go up there and they can beat some of these teams and potentially make a run. It's going to be tough, and we're going to be monitoring it obviously for the next week or two. But I think it all starts tomorrow. You got to go out there and look. This is a tough ball game for Cal. Also, they're coming all the way across on the other side of the country to play a 9 o'clock game, which is technically 6 a.m. for them. I don't like the whole thing of playing a 9 o'clock game regardless. I think it sucks for both teams, but I think that if there's an advantage there, it's for the Miami Hurricanes because it is, in Eastern time, so they'll be playing regular time. But and Cal will have to play if they feel like they're 3 hours behind. So I think that gives us an advantage there. You just got to come out. You got to pitch well. You got to score some runs, and you got to get in and out. Get in there, get a W, and keep moving forward, and get some momentum going into the regional because if you have no momentum, this is a game about momentum, man. And I've spoken about this ad nauseum. I think we've spoken about this so much. You got to get hot. You get hot at the right moment, and you're going to win some ball games, and you're going to potentially get into the tournament, win a World Series. Look at what Ole Miss has done the last few years. What Stony Brook did a few years back. There's a lot of teams, Georgia, South Carolina. There's a lot of teams that have done that. You got to get hot, and you got to at the right time. You have to perform and be consistent, and win some of the tough games and get lucky. I think Miami has an opportunity to do that, so I think we'll be excited to see what he does, what the Kings do, and if they can get back to that form that they were in, 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's where we need them at right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, the team has been inconsistent, as you said. It's been, a mix of blowout wins and losses with some play here or there determining the outcome. I mean, one was swept Boston College. One of the games was a Cuvée homer that wrapped around the foul pole because they happen to be playing in Fenway. Otherwise, it's a pop-up. And that was 3 runs, and they won 3-2. The other game, another one of the games, 2 bunt singles and a double from Cuvée were the only hits. Won that game. So, you do that, then games like Friday, actually Thursday of last week happened where, the Canes looked like the better team and just could not, ND's fielding was really good. They made some great catches in the field, turned some double plays, and the Canes just didn't get paid off on what looked like better play. So, it's just but that balances out again with the games against against Boston College, where kind of coming out there with the sweep was pretty fluky too. So, these things even out over the course of a season. So now it's more, since it happens in a short burst. Baseball is not meant to be played in, 1 or 2 games, but that's the way the postseason has to work because you can't play a 50-game postseason. So now it's just do they get the bounces or not? They should be able to stay in most of these games, hopefully. Although again, they have had the propensity to get blown out before. But if they stay in these games, we'll see if they can make the play here or there, the big hit. That'll kind of determine their fate. Now, hopefully Cal doesn't come down to that, but it could. Like I said, Cal, they took a game off Florida State. They took a game off Louisville. They're coming off a series win against Boston College, who's again not great, but they did win 9 ACC games. It's not like they went winless, so they clearly are capable of winning games. So you got to show up there. Griff has to pitch well, and that'll hopefully carry through. I mean, we've had so many games this year, and we mentioned he allowed 3 runs against Notre Dame on Thursday. Those were early, right? The number of times we've kind of come out of the dugout, come off the field after the top of the first behind, haven't batted yet. Like, we do need a good start from Griff to kind of get the ball rolling in the right direction. But I expect the Canes to kind of put everything into making sure they at least win that first game. So I think he'll start, and they'll use like their big bullpen arms as needed.
I'll tell you what. When it comes to consistency, I think obviously there's a big question marks there. But if there was ever an opportunity to bring in another bat, we were talking about it earlier. But right now, if Derek Williams tells you I'm ready to go, that's your guy, right? Like, you're putting him at DH, right? No doubt about it. You're not even thinking twice. Well, he's just coming off an injury. We got to bring him in slow. Nah, the hell with that, man. Like, he came here to play baseball. If he's healthy enough to swing the stick a little bit, put a padding on that right, or right or left. I forgot which one it was. I think it was the left one. On that left front palm of your hand there, and go, man, and go swing the bat, because now you're talking about having a pretty decent lineup if you put in a guy like Derek Williams, and he can continue to hit the way he was hitting before he got hurt, before he broke his hand, excuse me. I think that there's a possibility that if he's healthy enough, I know that he's working hard, he's rehabbing hard to try to get in, but if he's taking BP already, if he's healthy enough to swing that bat a little bit, let's go, man. Let's get Derek Williams in there, because now you're talking about 1 through 5 that are solid, 1 through 5, right? You could push a guy like Dorian down a little bit in the lineup. You can push Derek Williams, have him a little lower to break up that lefty that you get down there at the bottom with Peralta and Renzo and Mikey Torres. You can break that up a little bit, and then you'll have. It's all about matchups. It's all about making sure the pitchers understand that it's not just going to be easy outs, right? And that was a problem I was having with a guy like Bobby Marsh, right? And I kept saying, kept getting pissed off about it, because this is not no ill intent or anything towards Bobby Marsh, but he was in such a bad slump up there that he looked like he was guessing at every single pitch. And so everything that he swung at looked weak. It looked guessed. It looked half-assed. It looked like he was going through the motions, which made him a very, very easy out, because you can throw him anything. He just wasn't focused enough where it looked like he didn't have a clue as to what he was doing at the plate, which allowed pitchers to do whatever they wanted to get him out. They can get him out any which way. So, but if he was the hottest hitter in the beginning of the season, was Bobby Marsh. Now, you got a guy like that can put it together again and figure it out. Then you can insert him into the lineup again. But right now, you don't have anything back there. If you can get Derek Williams back in the lineup, then I think that might break things up on the bottom. And you've got these pitchers on the opposite side that are going to have to really think about how they're going to go after certain players. And it changes it up a little bit. So I think that without that, I think the Kings are kind of in trouble for the long haul. But again, anybody can get hot and anybody can make a nice little run and win some games, and I think it'll be okay. So that's really what I got on them. I know they face tomorrow, big game against Cal to start off the SEC tournament. I'm sorry, the ACC tournament over in Durham, North Carolina. The first pitch is at 9 a.m. So I'm going to set my alarm to wake up to watch the game, and I'll be up. But for those of you that are going to be watching some baseball, it is at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'm sure on one of the ESPN networks.
Yeah, I think it's ACC network.
The ACC network, yeah. So your thoughts closing out, Vish, on what do you expect from Miami down the line? And maybe we can have some follow-up discussions after each game. But right now, what is your thought process from here to next Monday is when we get back together to talk baseball? Where do you see Miami then? Yeah,
I mean, so I expect them to win tomorrow. They're better than Cal on the year. But again, these are ACC teams. If you win 9 games in the ACC, you can beat people. And obviously, like the Canes were in a similar situation last year, the last team in the ACC tournament and made the semifinals. So like they come in there thinking they're just going to walk over Cal. That's going to be a problem. But I expect them to be focused, especially coming off of this last weekend. And knowing that Griff is pitching, probably looking for a bounce back performance. So I think they'll play well tomorrow and hopefully win that. And then we'll see from there. Again, it's Wake is a road game pretty much. It's like an hour from campus for them. And they'll have played. They'll be able to hold their pitchers back and start their ace. So it's really uphill after the first game, but I at least expect that. And then we'll see where they land. I expect them to be in an SEC location a week from today when they do the bracket.
Mitch, you want to go grab un cafecito and go watch the Canes play somewhere? Maybe we'll ask John from Cafecito and Canes to join us.
I am on a 6 a.m. flight to DC, so I will not be able.
So you're gonna catch but at the moment you land is when you'll be able to.
Yeah, I should land around the time of the first pitch. So
yeah.
I'll be monitoring from there. And anyway, dude, we have jobs. Can you watching baseball?
Go to work, everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
We're
watching baseball at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Put it on your phone or something. We'll go to work.
But we'll be monitoring the situation. Hopefully, the Canes can come out tomorrow with the win. Again, just get a little bit of, at least have something good come out of the trip there. You don't want to be eliminated from the ACC tournament by noon on the first day. So just get that one win. Yeah.
Let's get it going. Keep it locked here. We'll have some more Canes on deck for you next Monday at 9:30. And we might have some extra stuff for you during the week. We'll see if we can do that. Talk a little more baseball as the Canes head to Durham to face the Cal Bears first round of the ACC Championship at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Make sure you check it out, and we'll talk about it a little bit later after that. We'll see you guys soon.
Yep.
Go Canes.
Go Canes.